stream. So it has been too long. I love you, miss you guys. I really appreciate everyone being here today for this. So this is actually a little off kilter for me for a couple reasons. Number one, this is actually a brand I have never heard of. And so I had to go do some research on them. They're a brand that comes out of Italy, hails from Italy. And the brand that makes the perfume is called Lab Solu, Labsolue. Kind of like, I don't know if you can see right here, but kind of like Absolute, but Lab Solu. Not too shabby, I would say, of a name. And as you can see at the top, it says Golden Goose Journey Set. And so inside of these are a bunch of fragrances. And one of my my boys, my good friend, who I basically think of as family, we're kind of there for each other. We've been through a lot in these last 4 or 5 years. But he reached out, and he's huge into this Golden Goose brand. I only own 1 or 2 pairs of their sneakers. He probably owns 20. You know, he's like huge into the brand, right? They basically sell these Italian style sneakers that are pretty expensive. So this is one of my pairs. They kind of look like this. They've got the Italian leather. The leather on them is very good. They're overpriced, I will tell you that. But he's a huge fan of the brand, right? So much so that basically what ended up happening was the brand reached out to him and said, hey, man, we have a gift for you for being such a loyal customer. And he was like, oh, really? And so he thought they were going to give him like a free pair of sneakers. And they gave him this, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different scents. Okay. And they're named by cities, kind of like Le Labo does. Actually, the aesthetic of the brand feels a lot like Le Labo in a way, in that they are a lot of their stuff is distressed. It has that quote unquote distressed look. So like if you take a look at the sneakers, when they actually come almost like kind of scuffed up already, but that's the look. So that's how they come. This is not me scuffing them up. This is how their sneakers come, right? So this is kind of what they're famous for, these Golden Goose sneakers. But they have these perfumes. And so I said, hell yeah, I'd be interested in getting a chance to do like a live stream on them because they're not mine. They're his. And he let me borrow them for the live stream. So I thought that was pretty cool. And so these are semi first impressions, semi second or third impressions, because I did get a chance to wear a couple of them to bed recently. And I also got a chance to smell some of them on him. So almost like through a second party source. I didn't get a chance to wear these as my scent of the day ever, but they kind of come like this. They come in these little droppers, which I have to admit, I really like after getting a chance to test them. So they're 15 mils, but they come in these little droppers like this. And the dropper keeps the scent. It keeps each drop sort of, the droppers are fantastic quality. So it keeps the scent from kind of spilling and stuff like that, wasting juice. You can literally just put a little drop. You'll see it when I apply them. But you can literally put 1 or 2 drops. You can control exactly how much that you want on your skin. So I kind of like that dropper idea. Even though I really like to spray, when you're conserving a sample and trying to get as much wear out of it as possible, the dropper is kind of a neat idea. So what kind of brought me down this path, and what's interesting about getting to explore these, is I went to go look for Golden Goose fragrances, and on Parfumo, there's nothing. There's nothing in Parfumo about Golden Goose at all. So it was almost like they don't exist in the fragrance game. And I was like, man, that's crazy. So I started to do some research on this brand that's called Lab Solu, right? And interestingly enough, they are an Italian brand, just like Golden Goose. So Lab Solu has its own website, which is called LabSoluePerfume.com is their website that you can kind of go to. And you can buy bottles directly from them. So they sell what appears to be, I'm not 100% sure, but from the research that I've done, it appears to be the exact same fragrance that you can get on Golden Goose's website, but they don't have the city names on them. They have these names that are underneath. So like this particular one right here is called Santolina. And Santolina is sold on the Labsolue Perfumes website, if that makes sense. So it's sold under Santolina. Golden Goose took this, is what I think they did, They took these and they basically put a city name on them, which I guess they have like a headquarters in some of these different cities, and they marked them up. So you can actually buy these scents directly from Lab Solu for cheaper than I think you can get them on the Golden Goose website. So it doesn't have the city name on it or whatever, but from my research, it seems to be the exact same scent. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it appears to me. So, all right, drop your scents of the day in the comments. And we're going to do a couple things before we start putting stuff on my body, which is we are going to do a quick unboxing. My scent of the day was this little bad boy. This was actually requested by someone that I work with. This is Roja's Hout Lux. They wanted to know what a high-end, expensive fragrance smells like, so I wore this to work for them. And they got a chance to smell it. So that was fun times. And so that was my scent of the day. Let's do some comments and then we'll kind of get into applying some of these bad boys and talking about them. This Lab Solu is an interesting scent because an interesting brand because it always reminds me a little bit of kind of like what Le Labo is trying to do. Sorry, kind of like what Les Indemodables is trying to do, but giving it like a Le Labo cover. Like imagine you took Les Indemodables as an idea and kind of put a little bit of a cover on it because they do have these different big name perfumers in the background. I think I saw names like Alexandra Carlin and stuff like that. But some of the fragrances are almost like soliflores. Like one of them's a jasmine, one of them's a gardenia, one of them is called myrrh, but they kind of create. So I think what they're trying to do is say, hey, we're creating these fragrances like in a Lab Solu, and we're using some of the highest quality materials. If you read some of their blurbs, that kind of thing, but they almost give it like a Le Labo face cover, if that makes sense. So interesting brand. Interesting. I love exploring these new brands. I knew nothing about this house, by the way. So this is all new to me. So Dushan says, Adam is wearing Antaeus. Russian Adam. Well, if he is, he's smelling damn good. Let's go, Dushan. Man, too late for my European arse. Enjoy the stream. Well, thanks for dropping in, Manly. Thanks for dropping in, Keith. Good to see you, man. Yes. Burdouz. You sent me, I think, some of that Russian leather. I'll do a video on that one of these days, my friend. Thank you. Awesome indeed, Andy. Thanks for being here, man. What's up, guys? What's everyone wearing? For the night, I wore Sense of Wood Mycelium Chestnut. I've never smelled it. Never smelled that Sense of Wood. They got a lot of stuff. Hey, Rich, thanks for being here, man. Thanks for being here, Rich. Nice, nice. Scent of the day, Orto Parisi Mega Mare. Interesting. I don't think I've smelled that one, but it's a brand that I really need to try to sniff out more. I've been impressed with Orto Parisi. Greetings, Earthlings. Greetings, Bert. Loewe Anonimo 7. Have not smelled that one. I don't even think I've heard of that one. John Barbados Vintage. That's a quality scent, a piece of art. A quality scent indeed. Vintage is right here. This is one that I need to talk more about, this John Varvato line in general. Good stuff. Nautica Voyage scent of the day. Good. I have not smelled that in ages, Bert. Bert smelling fresh indeed, like an ocean breeze. So I asked for a recommendation. So I asked to recommend a scent for a 30-something year guy that never used fragrances. He ended up buying Dior Homme Sport. He was very happy with it. The current formulation. Interesting. Yeah, Dior Homme Sport's okay. I actually prefer Dior Homme Eau for like a fresher Dior Homme. I've got a sample somewhere. Maybe I'll get a chance to review it. Quoium is wild. Yes, it is. I love the stuff. And I do normal sprays. So I'll do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sprays of Quoium. It is amazing. It is. I love those type of leathery, animalic type fragrances. So yeah, I think I've got it here somewhere. Quoium is right here. Yes, it is fantastic. This will definitely get some talk on the channel one of these days. If you're a leather fan, just the outer wrapping should make you excited. That is good. That's a really good presentation for a leather. And you can kind of see the design here on the front. And this is almost leather right here on the top. It feels like hardened leather. Good stuff. Mike coming in hot and heavy, dude. It's good to see you, Mike. You've been saving that one, haven't you? That's good stuff, man. That is good stuff. Man, I don't know if you can burn any harder than that, Mike. Anonimo 7 is Loewe, is a medicinal amber incense. Gorgeous. Nice. I like the brand of Loewe. Satis de Giovanni. Good stuff, Gabriel. I love Satis. Quoium looks interesting. It is very interesting. Noir Anthracite. Cannot go wrong with that, mate. Talk about a amazing discontinued fragrance from not that long ago, actually. I remember listening to a video from, I think it was Mark from the Robes 08 channel, who called it as soon as he smelled it. He was like, this is going to get discontinued. They were calling it as soon as it came out. And sure enough, it absolutely got whacked. So let me do a quick unboxing. It's not really even an unboxing, to be honest. It's just it's a deal that I had with a guy who reached out to me. I really don't know this guy at all, other than he sent me some samples, maybe like within the last month or two, and said, hey, I'll send you some 5 or 10 mil samples if you just talk about them on the channel and give my website a shout out. So I said, sure. I mean, it's great because for me, I can say whatever I want about the fragrances, and he doesn't care because all he wants is his channel to be shout out. And I get some fragrances that I've never smelled before. And I was saying this on the last live stream, but if you are if you're a reviewer of any clout or status, 5 or 10 mils should be more than enough for you to get to know a fragrance. You don't need a full 50 or 100 mil bottle to get to know a fragrance. Finished my bottle of Silver Stem today. Sad or happy? Finishing a bottle is like a congratulatory event at this point, Rich. It's so rare that it ever happens. That's like a day you'll always remember. Like, I remember the day you finished that Luciano Pavarotti bottle like it was yesterday. Finishing a bottle is a day you never forget, mate. Celebrate it. Okay, so this guy's website is AmaruParis. AmaruParis.fr, and he does decants. So, and he ships worldwide. And from what he sent me previously, they seem to be quality decants that didn't leak. They basically came like, these are some examples of some of the ones he sent previously. He sent Tonka Cola. He did misspell Mancera, but nobody's perfect. And he sent me Noir de Noir, 2 fragrances that I've never smelled before. And they came like this in these little decants. So, if you don't want the whole bottle and you just want a decant, this is kind of an interesting site to bookmark. It's here, I'll put it kind of on the banner below. It is AmaruParis.fr. There you go. AmaruParis.fr. So let's see what he sent me this time. Actually, I don't know what these are, other than I gave him a list of about 10 fragrances that I've never smelled before. And I said, send me any of these that you want. And so he said, I'll send you 3. I said, great. So first we have Lost Cherry by Tom Ford. This ought to be fun. So that's his website right there, by the way. AmaruParis.fr, because he's in France. He's in France. So Lost Cherry is kind of a little bit of a trend. Cherry has been a trend these last couple years. And Lost Cherry is maybe the one that really set that trend off. Even nowadays, I think about Tom Ford kind of really going down as the years have gone on, especially now that the brand has been sold officially. But Lost Cherry is an example that even though it's not 2007 and it's not oud wood and Tuscan leather, Tom Ford still commands, the market's attention. So Lost Cherry was black cherry, bitter almond, cherry liqueur, griotte syrup, jasmine sambac, Turkish rose, roasted tonka bean, Peru balsam, cedar, sandalwood, and vetiver. Luis Turner is the perfumer. We will see what I think about this. Of all the cherry scents, this is the one everyone keeps saying I need to try. So we shall see. Lost Cherry from Tom Ford. He also sent me Bitter Peach. Bitter Peach from Tom Ford. Okay. Too big. Was Bitter Peach a hype beast? I can't remember. Bitter Peach. 2020. So Lost Cherry was 2018. Bitter Peach was 2020. It's Wild Peach, Sicilian Blood Orange, Cardamom, Cognac, Divana, Heliotrope, Jasmine, Sambac, Absolute, Rum Absolute, New Caledonian Sandalwood, Vanilla, Benzoin, Cashmeran, Indonesian Patchouli, Labdanum Absolute, Styrax, and Tonka Bean Absolute. Jean-Marc Chailan and Laurent Le Guernec of IFF are the perfumers. I think Jean-Marc Chailan is Raymond Chailan's son, if I'm not mistaken. So he is kind of fragrance royalty, if you will. And the final one he sent me was Rose d'Amalfi. So we have all Tom Fords today. Rose d'Amalfi. So I've never smelled any of these. So these are all new to me. It's funny. Somebody asked me today, do you ever go to any perfume shops? And I'm like, no, I really never don't, because stuff like this, I've got so many samples to go through that I just honestly don't even have time to get through the ones that I have. So Rose d'Amalfi came out 2 years ago in 2022, and it's marketed as unisex, floral and powdery with heliotrope, almond, Italian mandarin orange, rose, Italian bergamot, and pink pepper. Of the three, I'm wondering if this won't be the one that I like the best, but Bitter Peach is the one that I am most expecting to say is shite, but we shall see. You can never judge a book by its cover. So let's catch up on some of these comments, and we'll put some of these Lab Solu fragrances on our skin and see what they are like. So if you go to Parfumo and actually type in Lab Solu, nothing will come up under the fragrances, but if you scroll down, you'll see it'll say, fragrance houses or whatever. So if you do Lab Solu and you scroll, it'll say brands, and then you can click on Lab Solu and it'll take you to all of their fragrances. So again, the downside with this instantly, just from a little bit of research, is like on the website, for example, one of their 120 ml bottles at Lab Solu's website for Legno de Pepe, which is one of the ones we're going to talk about today, is 160 euros. On the Golden Goose website, it's 285. So it feels like there's some markups going on. But I'm not 100% sure they're exactly the same, but it certainly seems like they are. They've got the Lab Solu name. They've got, for example, on that particular one, they've got Legno de Pepe listed on the bottle. So, I mean, I'm guessing it's the same, and Golden Goose is just marking them up. But, I mean, folks that buy Golden Gooses have money to buy the markup, so it should be fine. Rich, to be fair, I do have further such bottles of aforementioned silver stem. There you go. It's always a party up in here. I won't forget my last bottle of Catalyst by Halston. Is that the last bottle you finished? I think mine was maybe Oud Wood. Maybe Tom Ford Oud Wood. Yeah, Noir de Noir. I'm really excited to get to talk about that on the channel. If I buy more than 2 10 ml decants of the same fragrance, I'll buy the full bottle. Yes. Tom Ford's Cherry Smoke is a guilty pleasure. I have not smelled any of these Tom Ford cherry lines. I just assumed they were all shite, to be honest, and I wouldn't like them anyways, but you never know. You never know. Wearing Promise. I love Promise. I absolutely love Promise. It is such a huge fragrance. A zero fucks given fragrance. Any place to get the silver stem? I mean, eBay or Mercari, or if you know someone who knows someone. Greetings, Noah. Thanks for joining us on a Monday live stream. Hope everyone's Monday is going well. Tom Ford's Cherry is boring. Bitter Peach is gorgeous. Really? So Lost Cherry is boring. Bitter Peach is gorgeous. Okay. I was thinking it might be the other way around. Musk Habib, a solid musk fragrance, Jeremy. Perfect timing indeed. Bitter Peach was kind of hype, but not as much as most cherry. Yeah. Sherwood Chrysos. I cannot wait to smell that, Noah. You are hyping me up now, my friend. I hear good things. I hear really good things about Chrysos. Hey, everybody. Hey, Hez. Welcome to the channel. I don't think I've seen you before. Hez Parfums. Very nice. Noah, can you tell me a few things you enjoy about the new Sherwood? From what I heard, I haven't smelled it yet, but I heard it had a really nice musky opening. Glad to finally catch the live. Sent of the day, Mayo Fushini's Little Song, Coffee and Vetiver. Yes, that is actually a really good fragrance. I'm a big fan of these Mayo Fushini scents. They're very, you know, they have this kind of chic elegance about it, almost like a, you know, it's not obnoxious. It's not cheap amber woods. It's not just trying to push, you know, fragrances that push and all that stuff. It really does feel like they are done in an elegant, classy manner. But for a modern niche house, you don't get very much of this nowadays. This is unfortunately the exception and not the rule, these kind of scents. But I do like the coffee vetiver. I was talking when we did the Maxim live stream about needing or wanting another coffee oud. I always kind of leave this one out because it doesn't have the oud, but it's a beautiful coffee and vetiver. So yes, Little Song will definitely get some love. Great scent of the day, Dre Fudan. Glad you're here, mate. I heard Rose de Chine was really good. I did too, actually. And I heard, was that the one that was discontinued? Or maybe it was Rose de Russie. I think it was Rose de Russie is the one I'm thinking of. Sherwood will always be a hockey stick brand to me. Well, you're in Canada, dude. Everything revolves around hockey. As long as the Stars win, we're good here in my neck of the woods. As long as the Stars can get past the Golden Knights in this round, I'll be a happy ramp. It's just like, you know, they have the best season in the regular season, and then they meet their nemesis in the playoff. It's like they have a mental block with the Golden Knights. They just can't get past them. All right, let's put some of these on skin. So let us start with the one that I have not smelled before. We'll do the Santolini. So this one's called Santolini. And interestingly enough, I don't know if you guys can see, but if you go to that Lab Solu site, right here, it actually says embossed on the bottle, like engraved, it says Marvin. And at first I was like, dude, was this like someone else's set they accidentally sent him? But I went to the Lab Solu site, and every single bottle of Lab Solu has Marvin on the side. I guess Marvin is the Lab Solu guy. So there you go. So this one's called Santolini, and it's the only one that I think from this list we're going to discuss today that's done by Jan Vasnier. So they do have good perfumers making these. Jan Vasnier did things like, for example, probably his most famous creation was Toy Boy. Even though there's a lot of people that don't like this, he did Toy Boy. He did Plum Japonais, which I have under lock and key, but Plum Japonais, unfortunately, is discontinued. He did Vert de Encens. Those are probably my three favorite Jan Vasnier creations right off the top of my head. And he did this that no one talks about. I've never heard anyone really talk about this Labsolue brand before. But so I'm assuming Santolini, there's no note listings, but if you see, this is what I was talking about. See how it just holds the juice perfectly? It doesn't waste any juice. And you can just put a couple drops here. Do 1, 2, and there you go. You put it away and you kind of conserve some juice. So I like this little setup for sampling fragrances. So this is indeed a sandalwood fragrance. Now, there's pros and cons to this set right off the bat. Number one, it is quality. Like you can smell when we get to the jasmine, when we get to the Frangipani one, when we get to the quote unquote vanilla, the quality's there, okay? But there is a little bit of a twist. So like, for example, this is sandalwood and spices, okay? So it's sandalwood and spices, and the sandalwood is not the kind that's going to kind of rip your nostrils out. It's not Le Labo Santal 33, but it's also not the most natural smelling sandalwood for a brand that like claims, you know, this Labsolute lab made type selling point. There's almost a little bit of like, maybe like a MFK or modern niche feel twist to them. You know, there's something about them that makes me feel like, you know, the Compliment Bros would really dig this kind of perfume. But the way that they're focusing it, it's interesting because they're almost trying to focus it on an ingredient. So they're focusing on an ingredient. But they're adding maybe a little bit of a twist that makes it a little more mass appealing, a little different. The Labsolute website says about Santolini, what they have to say about this is that, well, let's see if I can find it first. They've got 56 products under their fragrances. So they actually have a lot. They have stuff like bergamot, artemisia, mandarin. These are the names of their fragrances. So you can see they're focusing on an ingredient while trying to maybe give it a little bit of a twist. And it looks like they have 3 different sort of series, if you will. They have the white bottles that go towards this floral, like in the white bottle is the jasmine, it's the gardenia. Santolini, I think, is in the green bottle, if I'm not mistaken. And then they have a blue bottle, which is made up of things like labdanums and myrrhs and olibanums and stuff like that. So it looks like they have these different series. But this is the first time I'm really getting to know the brand. So I guess I should have been more prepared. Let's see. Santolini. There's vanilla. Santolini. Okay. So I'm not sure what the number 30. So when you go to Lab Solu's website, it says 308 Santolini. Again, very Le Labo-esque with the numbers, right? So this is a splendid wild shrub celebrated for its dense silvery foliage around and masses of round yellow flowers that remain golden throughout the summer. And also, and above all, famous for the unique aroma it emanates when blown by the wind under the scorching sun. The scent of Santolina is indomitable, sunny, bright, warm, and persists with the herbaceous floral animalic trail. It is the sensation of Mediterranean summer, the scented kiss of the sun, an essence based on Santolina. I guess I'm not as familiar with Santolina. Santolina is also called cotton lavender. So I'm not familiar with that at all, to be honest with you. Smells like a woody kind of opening to me. Floral, deep, aromatic foliage. And so that's probably the twist that I was getting was this, they call it an aromatic foliage-like smell. And it says in English, Santolina is commonly called cotton lavender, probably due to the attractiveness of the scent. Despite this, the plant has no relation to lavender or cotton. Okay, interesting. There's definitely this woody base that it sits on. But you can see they're kind of taking this material and I guess playing with it, trying to play with it. And you're going to see that throughout the set. So I think they're good. They're good quality. They're good quality and they're done with a twist and they use good perfumers. They list the perfumers, which is nice. So they're very modern brand-ish. You know, they're very cognizant of modern brand etiquette, let's say, but they need better. I feel like they need better sort of distribution or marketing, or I never hear anyone talk about these, at least not. Then again, I don't watch very much YouTube anymore, but yeah, so greetings, Ram, wearing treacle from Pine Ward. Interesting. A wonderful hidden gem. Hopefully you can review it. I think I might have a sample. I'll have to check. So hard to give a first impression on this one because it really does feel like there's some woodiness underneath and maybe I'm just not familiar with this aromatic shrub on top, but yes, interesting. Maybe like a strange take on something like Immortelle. Like imagine like a sandalwood / Immortelle fragrance is a little bit what Santolina smells like to me. Kind of like that, you know how Immortelle sometimes gives that dry sort of feeling. And some sort of woody base. But I do think if you showed this to somebody who was not super into fragrances and you showed this to them and you just put this under their nose, I think this would be, I think the kind of person who likes this would like some of the other big niche brands, the Louis Vuittons, the Bulgari Le Gem line, you know, that kind of, let's say, fragrance enthusiast would probably really go for these. So interesting stuff. Gonna hang out for a bit. Thanks for letting me annoy you this AM. No problem, Chuck, man. That's what we're here for. Never tried Labsolue. I never even heard of them. Has anyone else heard of this house even? Forget trying it. Has anyone else even heard of them? Chrysos is a stain your skin yellow musk and ambergris bomb, but with some of the more refined beauty from Gentleman and inexplicable top. To me, it's better than Ambrosia. Better than ambrosia? Noah. You jest, my friend. Hey, Allie, good to see you. Good to see you. I'm going to go check my P.O. box tomorrow. So I think there'll be a little gift waiting. I'll let you know. I'll let you know if it's there. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, thanks a lot, Noah. I can't wait to smell that bad boy. Like a beard oil bottle. Yeah, it is. It's like a beard oil bottle. But if you look, it actually says eau de parfum. Right there, eau de parfum. So they are eau de parfums. They're not oils. But they presented them in this little kind of beard oil bottle, you could call it. Hoping you're keeping well. I am, Anuj. Good to see you, mate. The Whiskey Reaper. What's up, man? Good to see you. Hey, Kevin. Thanks for joining. How's Lakeland, Florida treating you? Ajay, good evening, mate. Let's go, Florida Panthers. Boo. What's the series on the Panthers side? I haven't been keeping up. Anuj, are the Leafs in this year? You know, I used to watch almost every single hockey game that I could get my hands on, which was a lot here during the regular season. And they took the ability for me to watch it away. The channel that I used to watch it on, Fox Sports Southwest, basically stopped carrying the games, and you had to go to Bally Sports and pay them a fee to watch it. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do it. So now I just feel like I only watch the playoffs. Go Maple Leafs, beat Boston. I hope so too. I can pull for the old Leafs. You're wearing Chrysos too, Ajay. You and Noah making me jealous. Can't wait to smell that bad boy. So yes, that's Santolina. Interesting. I figured Santolina was going to be a sandalwood-based scent, but apparently it's actually based on Santolina. So my guessing that was somehow related to sandalwood was wrong, although there is definitely this woodiness to it. And the slight floral aspects feel very Immortelle-like. They feel very dry. Parched is a good word, like a parched, dry, aromatic type smell. Let's see what it's supposed to smell like. So Santolina apparently is supposed to be a pungent, musty aroma. Scent and taste deter deer and other browsing animals. Well, so you won't have deer browsing around you if you're wearing this. But I still think Jan Vasnier did something of there's something in each one of these, except for the jasmine and some of the ones that are supposed to be more soliflores that have, there's a slightly, I don't want to say designer feel, but it's almost like you would expect from Le Labo, right? Like some of those Le Labo scents, even though they're priced like niche, they smell like something that you would expect from, I don't know, like a high-end designer or something. A lot of the big, city boys love that type of smell. I think this would go into that category for sure. I think it would. My Leafs suck. Oh, no, sorry to hear that. I think we're down 2-1. We were lucky to just win a game. Oh, it was one of the worst things I've ever smelled, man. Not a problem. No, thanks for being here. It was literally one of the worst things I've ever smelled. This titanium. And you know what? Fair play to them, because in the video I did on titanium, I actually mentioned there were a couple good things about the brand. One, the customer service was excellent. Like the woman who reached out to me, the marketing executive or whatever, super sweet lady. And then after I did the video, I was like, well, I'll never hear from them again. She actually reached out again and said, hey, I appreciate your review. And I was like, yeah, right. She was like, I appreciate you being, no matter whether you liked it or didn't like it, I appreciate you giving your thoughts. We always take these into account, blah, blah, blah. She was like, don't worry, you're not blacklisted. And I was like, yeah, right. So anyways, we will, I said, if I got to smell some of the other stuff, I would do videos on them. Honestly, I don't know if I ever want to put a Jaseda fragrance on my skin again, but that high-end niche line, I would at least give it a chance. I would give it a chance. Hey, Dwayne. Hope everyone's having a great day. Unfortunately, I came with sad news. We lost Boz today. Are you being serious, or? I hope you're not being serious. Should be Journey in title, not Journey. Did I misspell it? Apologies. Let's see. Thank you. Thank you for the catch. Journey sample set. We'll put some perfume, cologne, fragrance. Thank you. It is not allowing me to change it. You cannot edit the schedule. Okay. Apparently I can't edit it. It's not happy with me. Yeah, it's not letting me. I tried. It used to let you change it, so I'll just have to change it later. But thank you for that, Ahmed. Appreciate that. Hola. Hola, John Pondy. Chrysos is awesome. Musk in there gives me vibes of what I felt in EO Private Blend. Private Blend? That is a hell of a comparison, Ajay. Hell of a comparison, mate. Okay, so next on the list, I want to try this. Now, this one I've cheated a little bit because this is one that I have smelled before. I got a chance to wear this one to bed, and I really liked it. It was probably my favorite of the bunch. So again, if you go to the Golden Goose website, you can buy these if you want to have the city version. This one's called Seoul. But if you go to the Lab Solu website, I think you can get the same one. It's called Mirra for much cheaper. Mirra. Sorry for the shitty camera. But Mirra is probably my favorite of the bunch, partially because I've been on a myrrh sort of kick lately, but also because this has a very interesting, spicy sort of incensey note in there. So if you watched my review of Myrrh Ardente by Anik Goutal, that myrrh kind of had small wisps of incense later on, but it was very sort of licoricey, earthy. You know, it had myrrh in the top and the base. It was a great sort of reference myrrh. This particular one is created by Alexandra Carlin. She was the same lady who did the amouages that they tried to do, like amouage gold for men and amouage gold for women, and sell it for almost like $2,000. If you remember that time when amouage tried to do that within the last year or so, I think it was, and I don't think they sold very well. Alexandra Carlin was the perfumer who amouage asked to remake those, right? So she made this one, the one that Golden Goose calls Soul and Lab Solu calls Mirra, M-I-R-R-A. And so you definitely get the myrrh. But I get a lot of sort of this incensey feel. And so it's myrrh and myrrh absolute with tolu balsam and fir balsam. So there is something slightly green in there from the fir. But this is maybe my favorite of the set that I've tried so far, this Mirra. And if you're into myrrh, this is what I say what's so interesting about this brand is they're focusing on a particular ingredient, but they're kind of using perfumers to try to create something different than just a myrrh soliflor. You know, myrrh is a big part of it. Like I said, it's named myrrh. I guess Mirra is myrrh in Italian, I'm guessing. But if you're a fan of kind of incensey or resinous fragrances, I think you would really like this one. This is good stuff. And the quality of the ingredients is good. I mean, for me, I would much rather have Myrrh Ardente. I think that's the better myrrh sort of reference myrrh. But for someone just getting into myrrh, if you're big into those incensey orient. Oh, and it's also very spicy. So the spices are definitely here. I don't know what she's used, but there's something spicy. Probably some combination of nutmeg, or I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of a clove / eugenol smell in here that she used. Very, very well done. This one's really good. I really enjoyed it. Now, one thing I will mention for all of these is they're eau de parfums, but they don't seem to really, and maybe it's because I'm not spraying them. Maybe if I had a spray bottle and actually sprayed it on, it would be more diffusive, but they don't feel like they really project a whole lot. They feel like they're a little closer to the skin, but again, it could be because of these beard oil type bottles that they're in. So So that one's called Seoul on the Golden Goose website. So what Lab Solu has to say about Mirra is they have to say that Mirra is okay. So we've got Styrax, we've got a Papanax. This one's in one of those blue bottles. So we have Mirra. So this one's 160 euros on the Lab Solu website for 120 mils. It says they're celebrating myrrh, originating from the Middle East and already known among the ancient Egyptians for its ability to reconnect the spirit with the earthly world. I got to be one of these people who writes some of these briefs. It is a natural resin with a fine balsamic and aromatic smell produced by thorny trees of the Commiphora genus, Mirra variety. It comes in the form of golden teardrop-shaped drops, which are scented from the entire plant, from the roots to the trunk, to the highest branches, and collected by hand. A mystical and profound perfume, which draws from the precious tears of the myrrh tree, intermediary between heaven and earth, an essence based on myrrh absolute and myrrh essential oil, combined with enveloping and spicy notes of tolu and fir balsam. Curiosity. The myth of myrrh is narrated by Ovid in the Metamorphosis. It concerns Myrrh's carnal love for her father, the king of Paphos, a crazy and uncontrollable passion which she cannot free herself from, to the point that in desperation she tries to take her life. The gods accept her plea and transform her into a tree. Not holding back her tears, drops of fragrant resins emerge from her bark, which takes her name from her. Okay, so even though that went dark at the end, you get the idea. It is a myrrh-centered fragrance. The incense adds something slightly bright in here as well. Like, it's not just this dark incense. There is smoky incense, but it also feels like you're getting hints of the incense resin, like it's lemony. And I mean, you can tell the materials here are high quality, but they're not super complex. They just kind of give the main idea a little bit of a twist, if that makes sense. So interesting stuff. I will say that it's interesting. It's not shite. For me, Ambrosia's still better. Aha. Mancera has to be the worst fragrance that other YouTubers show. I do have a Mancera decant here, so we'll do another Mancera review. I know those Mancera reviews are so popular. This one's called Tonka Cola. Some people tried to compare it to Roja's Enigma or Creation E. No. You still haven't tossed it out. I am not going to toss it out because I'm going to make this is not a top 10 worst fragrances, and it's going to probably be number 1. So I am not tossing Titanium out, although I did offer free decants to anyone who wants them that can come. I'm not shipping them, not to you guys, but I mean to some of my buddies as a joke. I was like, hey man, you want some free perfume? I've got some for you. Scent of the day, Dessandra's bottle came today. Lovely stuff. I knew you'd love it, Antonio. Yeah, Dessandra's is amazing. I would highly recommend. Highly recommend it. Anyone who loves good perfume and you want to support Eugene, I think this is up for an award, Best Independent Fragrance or something from the Fragrance Foundation. I think he's going to Portugal, maybe. I forgot where the event's held. Lisbon, maybe? Lisbon, Portugal? Yes, Dessandra's amazing. Oh, so good. So good. I actually recommended this today to a frag head. So yes, Dessandra's is good stuff. Hey, Justin, what's up, man? Hope that guy is joking about Boz. Yeah, that would suck. Told you about this, Boz. Stop telling people you're dead. It's not funny. Yeah, it's not funny. Not funny, Dwayne. I don't know why he thinks that's funny. Who would think that's funny? Today, Mancera Aoud exclusive for me. I've never smelled that one, I don't think. What's it like, John? They are damn close. I might have to retract and say Chrysos isn't necessarily better, just a bit more versatile. That's what I assumed, actually, because of the muskiness. It's definitely more wearable for sure. Very versatile. Awesome use of lavender, lavandin, and lavender. Interesting. Damn close for me. Ajay, I also got the last 2 bottles of Inexplicable in his backups. That one is still... Inexplicable was really, really good. I have an Anique Goutal vintage currently. Sables. Yes, Sables is a really good Immortelle. That's a very good point. Actually, now that you say that, Sables very well could be a good... I don't want to say comparison, but if you've ever smelled the Immortelle in here, it could be a good way to describe that sort of strange character of Santolini I was trying to describe. It really feels like the color of the juice. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else is familiar with this. Is it Santolina? Santolina. So yeah, Santolina. It's good stuff. Good stuff. I'm a fan. I'm a fan so far. The first 2 are hits. The Myrrh is much more sort of my speed currently. So the stuff that I've been enjoying wearing, I would absolutely take the Myrrh, which falls under Soul so far of the 2. So let's catch up on comments, and then we'll come back and do the last 4. There's 4. I don't know if I'm going to have enough skin. We're going to have to probably go in the middle of the arm. So we've got Los Angeles, Beijing, Venice, and Tokyo left. Inexplicable remains my favorite still. It was really good. I was very impressed. When are you going to do a Xerjoff review? I don't review many Xerjoffs because I really don't like the brand of Xerjoff. But I do have one Xerjoff that is on the to review list, and that is shows how much I reach for it. I don't even know where it's at. It's right here. It's called Xerjoff Om. And so Xerjoff Om is probably my favorite Xerjoff. It's if you've ever smelled kind of a old school take on something like Canitze 10, there's definitely a little bit of a link here. The Xerjoff is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit smokier, kind of imagine a niche take on Canitze 10. But Xerjoff Om is very good. It's a vintage, masculine, strong kind of fragrance. My favorite Xerjoff, hands down. I will review that, but other than that, this is the only Xerjoff bottle I own. So anything else would have to come off of a sample. And I've done a couple Xerjoff live streams where we talked about a lot of Xerjoffs at once, kind of like this, where we're doing the Golden Goose / Lab Solu live stream. But other than that, I've reviewed a couple. There is a Xerjoff playlist, but a lot of them are, let's say, less than me giving Xerjoff their flowers. They're not very. A lot of them are not good reviews. Like if you want to laugh, go watch my review of Symphonium. Love Chrysos. Amazing balance and smooth sandalwood. I need to try it. I think Royal Tobacco is the only myrrh incense frags I have. I should buy a spare bottle before L'Oreal wrecks it. Yeah. I really hope that L'Oreal thing falls apart. But yeah, Royal Tobacco was good. It was one of the better ones from the Fishman, I'll tell you that. Inject those drugs in you from the goose. Interesting. Oil myrrh. Still don't quite know what myrrh is, but I'm curious. Yeah, check it out. Go watch my review of Myrrh Ardent. I talk a little bit about it there. It's got an interesting sort of licorice, earthy, warming, balsamic character to it. And it's sometimes very bitter. I'm a fan of myrrh. My old Zeno I just got is even older than Lancaster's. It says both Davidoff and Zeno in cursive, splashed with a hard glass cap, even stronger than my vintage Lancaster's. That's crazy, Justin. That is crazy. I know you found that place right by... Yes, Dwayne's actually Boz. He turned up on an Archie luxury stream. Who would think that's funny? I don't know who would think that's funny. You received Dessandra's too, Chuck, today? Awesome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hurtling towards 50, acting like 15. Yes. That is shocking behavior for a 50-year-old. Who in the Ram Duck is this boss person? Somebody I blocked long ago. I finally got a new phone today, so I'll make a new Facebook and get a hold of you. Everyone probably thinks I dropped off the face of the earth. I'm going to need a new phone because I broke my screen, so only part of my phone works. So doing uploads are actually a bitch. I thought the oud line from Xerjoff's were actually pretty good too, Ajay. Not bad. Synthetic, but good. Yeah, Ohm is a fantastic leather. It really is. One of the few Xerjoff got right. And what's crazy is they modeled it off of a fragrance from, you know, forever ago. I think this came out in the 30s. Francois Coty, I believe, is listed as the perfumer of Caniche 10. So they're going way, way back on this one. Way, way back. The reason I only made a couple of videos on that series, Justin, was because there weren't many other fragrances to add to that list. So I need to do some thinking on that one, because I don't know if there's anything else that is worth adding to the list, you know. So, but yes, I know there is a series that I've done. If you haven't seen it, it's basically titled Vintage Fragrances Still Worth Buying in Their Modern Form. There's 2, I believe, videos that I did. You can go check those out. But I unfortunately don't have enough imaginary authors to do that. I only have 2. And I only own 1 or 2 Comme des Garçons. I own Girl, which was Pharrell Williams, done by Comme des Garçons, and then I own 2 Man. Those are the only 2 Comme des Garçons I own. So I don't think a family portrait is in store for either of those. Maybe some other houses once a couple more bottles comes in. So maybe we will see some more family portraits, but not of those 2 houses. Although I do have a lot of decants of imaginary authors. So we could see like a live stream where we go through a lot of fragrances at once, or maybe some individual reviews here or there. But family portrait, not yet. I need a lot more bottles for that. Carner Barcelona is a good house. There's a lot of Carner Barcelonas I have not had a chance to try. For example, I think it was Armando, or maybe it was Hari. But recently, I got this little bad boy, which is called Carner Barcelona D600, and it's a Carner Barcelona take on Dior Homme, and it's actually really good. Very underrated. This is a house that I think deserves more love, but I don't know enough of their work. I need to explore more. What do you think of Memo Paris leather line? Shite. I didn't like Memo Paris. I do have a live stream on them on the channel, but I didn't like their stuff. Yatagon's pretty good in modern form, and the ones you mentioned in the videos, I guess you're right, not many more. There really isn't much more to add, unfortunately. It's funny because, you know, as a reviewer, I often say you have to be balanced, right? So when you don't like something, you have to tell the truth about it. When you like something, you have to tell the truth about it. And I really think so many people nowadays are so used to only seeing positive reviews. I got a hilarious comment. I'm sure it's still up on my Jaseta Titanium video, where the guy was like, "You're full of shit. You don't hate this. You actually love it. You're lying. I'm blocking you. Bye." And I was like, it's just like, I think so many people are not used to seeing a negative review that when they see one, they're almost like, it's almost like you're personally attacking them. You know what I mean? Like, how could you attack a fragrance that I love so much? It's like, mate, I'm not attacking you. I'm literally attacking the scent. But that's what a reviewer should do. There should be positive and negative reviews. But I really do feel like negative reviews nowadays come across as, to some people, they come across as elitist, or how could you not like that? You're an elitist, or you're a snob, or that's part of being you know, when you have this many fragrances, you're going to have an opinion on stuff. You're going to have an opinion on things you like and don't like, right? And so it's just, it's crazy. YouTube is crazy sometimes. All right, let's do Los Angeles, which is the Frangipani one. And this one, I remember from memory is very sweet. It's a sweet flower. It's a good take on Frangipani. I'm going to try to put it right here in the middle of these two. So it's a good take. This one's rather, I would say, boring. The Frangipani is a little bit boring. It's a white floral, tropical smelling white floral, and you really get the white floral right in the beginning. It's got this tropical Frangipani and tiara flower like smell, which tiara, let me see it. T-I-A-R-E. T-I-A-R-E. So tiara is supposed to smell like another sweet exotic flower, but I think it's supposed to be more green. So Frangipani kind of has that. If you've ever been to kind of like a hotel in Hawaii or something, and they put that lei on you, a lot of times those are Frangipani flowers. So imagine this tropical floral swell, but slightly sweetened. And tiara is the exotic sort of green take on that. So it's white floral, slightly green, with this hint of vanilla underneath. Vincent Schaller is the perfumer. And so this is probably, I would say, one of the most boring of the bunch for me. Again, the quality is good. I think it's a good Frangipani. I prefer the way Bortnikov does his Frangipani. If you have been following my reviews for Bortnikov, you know he loves doing these kind of little floral touches here and there. And he does them beautifully. And here it doesn't compete with Bortnikov, but I think it's still very good compared to the modern designer type of Frangipani note you're going to get. This is still pretty good. I think this is maybe the most feminine of the bunch. I think this is even more feminine than the Jasmine, which we're going to get to here in just a little bit. So what Labsolute says about their Frangipani, I wish they made them easier to find. They just have them kind of like lumped together in no particular order. Maybe they're lumped together by the numbers, actually, now that I'm looking at them. I think they are. I think they're lumped together by the numbers, but I don't understand what the numbers mean. I got to do more research on this brand. So, so the Frangipani is number 26. And it says, an enchanted night in the tropics. I did mention this tropical floral-like smell, where Frangipani flower becomes the protagonist, a gradual transformation from the intense lights of the day to the soft lights of the moonlight. Creamy, silky, delicate. Those are all good words for this. Creamy, silky, delicate, soft. It's a soft, white floral type smell. Made of the stuff of dreams to accompany moments to remember, a moonlit Frangipani flower essence infused with gardenia and vanilla. Curiosity, belonging to the Plumeria genus, which probably my favorite Frangipani that I don't own. I did a review of Aries Ladore's Plumeria d'Oris. And it's funny because, you know, there are some folks out there who are like, anything Aries Ladore Ramsey just likes. Well, but the reality is because he's the one who uses the actual ingredients. Like he's using the high quality ouds, the real Frangipani in his Plumeria d'Oris, and it's done very, very well. So that's why I love his work. But go watch my review on Plumeria d'Oris. That may be the best Frangipani fragrance I've ever smelled, especially for someone like me who likes a little bit of animalic. See, this is very creamy, soft, white floral, easy to wear, right? If I was going to wear a Frangipani, I would want it to have some sort of character. You know, I'd want some funky oud in there or civet or something animalic to offset that. And Russian Atom scents give me that a lot. That's the reason why I like his fragrances so much. But he's not the only one. But that happens to be one that, right off the top of my head, Plumeria d'Oris. It's just impossible to find because it was one of his earlier works. So I'm not familiar with this perfumer either. Vincent Schaller. He did a lot of stuff for 4711. He did Le Labo's Oud 27, which I've never smelled. So he's done some stuff. I'm not familiar with his work. He did a fragrance by the house of Arodian. I think it's literally called Arodian. That's a Maurer and Wirtz house. So he's done some stuff. But this is probably the most feminine and the most boring of the bunch to me. So, belonging to Plumeria genus of flowering plants, the name derives from a 16th century marquis of the noble Frangipani family in Italy, who, obsessed by the scent of this flower, managed to recreate it. Dream of a Tropical Night by Vincent Schaller. Okay, interesting. Yadigan's pretty good in the modern form, and the ones you mentioned in the videos, yeah, for sure. I'm going to review my 10 mil Sense of Wood. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm always up to smell new things, man. What I smelled from the brand, you know, they're okay. They definitely have a DNA that runs through them. But yeah, I know they put out a lot of stuff because they do that monthly subscription. Myrrh incense can't get... No, it really can't, man. You're right. I mean, I 100% agree with you. A Home World Royal Vintage Mukhalat Ram. I'm actually shocked to see Quirtus still not sold out. Got a backup yesterday. Yes, well done, mate. Very well done. I thought maybe it was sold out for a little bit, and then it came back or something like that. But yeah, there are still bottles available. Always appreciate the honesty. Thank you, mate. What do you think about houses like Toscovat? I've never even heard of that, man. I've never, ever even heard of that house. So I have no clue. Most Revlons is decent. I got Chiara 100% last month. A Papanax Mom, similar to Ala Versailles, and it's great. Paid $10. Really? Interesting. How are those a home frags? Is it a home? I've never heard of that house. I've never smelled anything from them. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. One of the Toscovat smells like popcorn and cola, sweet as hell. They're doing really creative stuff, but not necessarily great. That makes sense. You could be creative and not great. Royal Vintage Mukhalat is great, but I got to tell you that most fragrances from the brand, I own about 5 bottles, smell pretty similar. So that's very similar to what we were saying about Dixit and Zach. I was told his frags need work, so I hold off on it. Okay, interesting. Probably not buying any full bottles from A Home World as well from now on. Okay, good stuff. No, that's all great info. Appreciate you guys just sharing that. So far we did the Santolina, which we learned was some sort of a shrub. We did Mirra, which is my favorite from the line so far, with that incensey myrrh. I think I really liked what this one dried down to as well. I think Mirra was my favorite dry down as well that I had a chance to smell. And we did the Los Angeles one, which was literally called Frangipani. Okay, so next on the list, we have Beijing. And Beijing is Gelsomino, which I believe is Italian for jasmine, if I'm not mistaken. So Gelsomino is their jasmine. And this is a really good jasmine. It's not a jasmine soliflor, but if you're someone who is interested in kind of exploring specific notes, let's say, and you haven't had a chance to smell jasmine in its pure form, like you haven't had a chance to smell jasmine Otto or Absolute or anything like that, essential oil, which is very expensive, this is a great way to smell a high quality jasmine. The jasmine in here, of all of their scents so far, and you can see they really try and kind of pick a particular ingredient and build around it. This one may be the closest thing to the real jasmine that I've smelled. And I have some actual jasmine. I don't know if I'll be able to find it right away, but in one of these, I have some actual jasmine Absolute somewhere. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Oak moss, tobacco, benzoin, tonka, jasmine sambac. Okay, here we go. Actually, you know what? Jasmine grandiflorum or jasmine sambac. Let's see. So the jasmine Let me see if they say which Gelsomino. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Gelsomino. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Gelsomino. So, oh shit. It's in Italian. Okay, so name of Persian origin, Yasmin, which means both scented flower and divine gift. You have to know how to wait to breathe the true intensity of jasmine, as precious as a much desired gift. The night opens like a bright star in the dark sky above. It is then that its starry flowers exhale the most enchanting scent, floral, fresh, and exuberant, sprinkled with vibrant fruity notes and placid herbaceous notes. Smell it and make a wish. An essence for dreamers created from splendid jasmine flowers and enriched with orange blossom absolute. Okay, so that orange blossom, I just did a video yesterday on Narrowly. And orange blossom and Narrowly are distilled from the same tree, the orange blossom tree. The little flowers that grow on the orange blossom tree basically make both Narrowly and orange blossom, and it just depends on how you distill it. Basically, is what I read, and we talked a little bit about that on my "This Is Not a Top 10" Narrowly video. Well, this takes that orange blossom freshness, which is more sort of flowery, indolic floral, like indolic white floral. So it adds like a freshness to the jasmine in the opening, but really you get the jasmine front and center very quickly. And it's actually really beautiful. High quality jasmine like this has grown on me substantially. I thought I hated white florals early on, and I've really been kind of getting into them lately. This is a beautiful jasmine. It's really, really good. I mean, this is the kind of jasmine that you smell and like feel oud de grande. It is a realistic smelling jasmine, but it is it feels like a jasmine soliflor in that even though it has a little bit of orange blossom, maybe a little bit of vanilla to kind of round it out. I think they're really just working to highlight that jasmine note and kind of put it on a pedestal, and it is beautiful. It's really nice. So that is on the Lab Solu website. This one's called Gelsomino. Gelsomino, but it's their jasmine basically. So, it's the brand from Zakir from Dixit and Zach. Okay, so that makes sense. So maybe, you know, that was their strategy with Dixit and Zach as well. Interesting. I really wish Mosafir guys were able to ship overseas. I really liked what I smelled from them. High quality stuff. I've heard a couple folks talk a lot about that Mosafir brand. Is that the one in Pakistan? You're bang on. It's from Zach. All smell similar. Oh no, that is not good. That he went and created his own brand and he's kind of plagued by the same issues. That's no bueno, man. Sorry to hear that. Okay. So next on the list we have Venice, which is Vaniglia. So this is their vanilla, basically. And this one is created by none other than Aurélien Guichard, who is the owner of, he did Eros, he did Salvatore Ferragamo's Uomo, and he did his own brand, which was called Maitrier Premier, which I am not a fan of. I'm actually really not a fan of Aurélien Guichard's work. I'm a much bigger fan of his father's work. His father had some amazing scents, but so he created this vanilla. So the vanilla is probably the most, I would say, mass appealing of the bunch. So the vanilla is, let me put some on right here. Man, all of these scents combined are going to make me smell crazy. Yeah, so it opens up like a kind of a woody, boozy vanilla, and I would not be surprised if he's using some serious amber woods here. They're used well, but this one feels the most designer-esque, which doesn't surprise me at all with Aurélien Guichard's background, making Eros and these hardcore designer scents. So I think as far as like, if you're a compliment, if you're someone doing it for compliments, this is the one that you're probably going to want to go for. Vaniglia smells like something you would expect to smell in like a Lalabo bottle. Peppery incense is what it smells like. Maybe slightly boozy, woody undertone. But again, like many of his scents, one of the problems, and I never would have been able to know this on a first impression, but I actually wore this to bed last night along with a couple of these. I wore the myrrh to bed, I wore this one to bed, and I wore the jasmine to bed. And I could smell the dry down as the hours went by. The dry down of Vaniglia, it really felt like it fell apart. I didn't care for the dry down as much, which none of the other ones really did that, which, you know, make me think that it's Aurélien Guichard's methods. I just don't like him as a perfumer. I don't think he's very good. I think he goes for, you know, he goes for the easy way out, the big doses of amber woods for compliments and stuff like that. So from Pakistan, really famous for their use of real deer musk. Ah, yes. Awesome. Now they've drawn it back a bit and send out every 3 months. One every 3 months for Sense of Wood. Interesting. It is his brand. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of Maitre Premier. I mean, this smells like it would fit right into a Maitre Premier bottle. Like he definitely has a style, if you will. I don't think it would appeal to the hardcore frag heads, but I think this would do really well for the, you know, I think this would do well for someone who wanted to kind of take the next step. They didn't want to wear they wanted a vanillic base scent, but they also wanted it to be somewhat mass appealing and, you know, attract, let's say, attention. I think this would do that. I really do. I think this would be a compliment monster for people who care about that kind of stuff. And I feel like it also projects the most of all of the ones we've talked about. This Vaniglia projects the most. Okay, so that just leaves one, and that is Tokyo. So Tokyo is called Legno de Pepe, which I looked up the other day. And it basically means, Legno de Pepe means, it means pepper wood. So Legno de Pepe, I believe in Italian, means pepper wood. And they say it is one of the first spices to arrive in Europe from the Silk Road. Pepper was as precious as gold. The pepper tree in its totality and complexity is the source of inspiration for Lab Solu. In a process of glorifying its rich scent from an aromatic and vibrant spice to warm and enveloping woods, integrity, strength, and touch of darkness that attracts, unmistakably magnetic. An essence characterized by the intriguing black pepper absolute. It's definitely peppery, and it's definitely woody. So it's peppery with benzoin absolute and creamy sandalwood absolute. Legno de Pepe is the winner of the 2023 award, both as the best artistic perfume independent brand and as a best home fragrance. So I guess they also have home fragrances, which what they call home fragrance is almost like a diffuser is what I think it is. So it's like a diffuser style. Actually, I think I might prefer this as a home fragrance to something I would have to wear, because it definitely has that masculine, like this would smell amazing as like a candle or something. So I think it would do well as a diffuser or a home fragrance. But got a Gold Cap Heritage EDP version coming. Have you ever heard of this before? Yes. But I think the original EDP was not the gold cap. I think it was silver. So I think originally the gold cap was the eau de toilette, and the silver cap originally was the eau de parfum. And then I think they changed it later on to the gold cap eau de parfum later, is what I think they did. But I mean, I'm sure it's still great, Black Monday. Don't worry about it. You'll love it. Welcome, Marcelo. Good to see you, mate. I blind bought and gave away 2 frags from his line, Santal, Austral, and Parisian Must. No bueno. No. That his line is no good at all. Let me see who made this Legno de Pepe. Pierre Constantine Guerro. So black pepper, Gaiac wood, and you definitely get a little bit of that smoky Gaiac wood. So it's like peppery, woody, smoky, slightly incensey smelling. Definitely, I think, the most traditionally masculine of the bunch. And the myrrh is kind of right behind it. I think the myrrh and the Legno de Pepe are the 2 traditionally masculine. The Frangipani and the jasmine, which is Gelsomino. I'm guessing that's jasmine in Italian. And the Vaniglia. The Vaniglia is definitely the most mass appealing. The Vaniglia could easily fit into a Parfum de Marly bottle or something. It's not bad. It's just, I don't know. Has anyone smelled these? This feels like such a weird exercise because it's like, you know, obviously this Lab Solu brand is interesting, but I never hear anyone talk about them. And as an Italian brand, I mean, they mix up pretty well with, I can see why Golden Goose and Lab Solu kind of teamed up. But it's a strange sort of, they make strange bedfellows, you know? And then Golden Goose charging more on their website just to put the city names on. I don't know. That seems a little bit strange. But all in all, the fragrances themselves are not bad. They are, you can see that Lab Solu has kind of a vision. I would like to smell more from this house. If you've ever watched those old Robes 08 videos where he says, buy a bottle, you know, throw it away and never sample again, or buy another sample. These would be buy another sample, I think. I think they're interestingly enough. They're interesting enough that I would like to smell more from the house, but I don't think I would go jump out a window or anything for them. So that's right. The only journey I know is Amouage. That's right. It's probably the only journey you know. Or the only journey you need to know. But I mean, this was an opportunity to test these that I never would have got to anyway. So let's go through them one more time. So the first one we did was this Santolina, which I think is still sitting on a woody base, but apparently the Santolina has this aromatic, sort of pungent, dry, musty aroma, which to me smells very similar to Immortelle. So imagine like a interesting twist on Immortelle and Woods, and that's the Santolina. The Mirra, which is probably my favorite of all of these. The Mirra is kind of a earthy, slightly peppery incense, heavier incense take than when I reviewed Myrrh Ardente. Myrrh Ardente was nowhere near as incensey as this. Here, the incense is much more prominent. And sort of, if you blindfolded me and made me sniff this, I would say incense is a main note here. Even though they didn't list it as a main note, I get a lot of incense and resins and balsams. But Myrrh has kind of been like the note du jour lately. So this Mirra is very interesting. This is the one, if you said, Ramsey, you get to pick one to have, this is probably the one that I would pick. And it's the one I think that holds together the best into the dry down. So, yes, on the Golden Goose website, they call it Seoul, because each one of these have a city name. So this one's Seoul. But on the Labsolue website, getting all this stuff mixed up, it's called Mirra. So it's their myrrh. And then we did the Frangipani here, which is the most traditionally feminine of the bunch. Definitely a creamy, soft, white floral, very sort of tropical smelling, almost like smelling a sunshine, feeling like that warmth, if you will. And then there was that tiara flower in there as well, which gave it a little bit of fresh green to cut that tropical frangipani, and it sits on a bed of vanilla. This would smell amazing on a beautiful woman, but I think it's definitely the most feminine of the bunch. And then we did Gelsomino, which was their jasmine, and this is a beautiful jasmine. Actually, I wanted to put some jasmine on a blotter and just compare, because they don't say what type of jasmine they use. It just says jasmine. So here's some actual jasmine grandiflorum, which the jasmine grandiflorum is the sort of oh God. Oh man, that is beautiful. So the jasmine grandiflorum, wow, there's almost something so dirty. That has to be the indoles. If you're not familiar with indoles, so some folks call indole like the poop smell, because indoles are found in poop for some reason. They're also found in florals like jasmine. There's a whole article you could probably read on why that is. And there's a very thin line that is taken between being way too indolic. Some people smell that as almost poopy in a way, and adding this unbelievable amount of like depth and texture. And here it's the depth and texture that I'm getting. The indolic aspect of the jasmine is coming out majorly on this strip, more than I even remember it last time I tested this jasmine grandiflorum. But it ends up drying down to kind of the honeyed, thick jasmine, you know, honey white floral jasmine that just seems to go on and on and on. That is so beautiful. I think this is probably a mixture of both. I wouldn't be surprised if they did like a blend, like instead of just picking one type of jasmine, they blended jasmine grandiflorum and jasmine sambac, which is like the fresher, traditionally more masculine jasmine. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that at all. So yes, that's their jasmine Gelsomino. I guess that's jasmine in Italian. And then we tried the Vaniglia, which is, see, right now it's getting more of that woody, almost like, you know, old wooden box feel. The Vaniglia, I don't even think I read what they had to say about the last two. Let's pull them up. So Vaniglia, they have so many fragrances. Cypress, liquid amber, oud. They have an oud. I'd be interested in smelling that. They have a gaiac wood. They have a rosewood. They have a mentha aquatica. Where is this Vaniglia? They have a cypress. They have a styrax, a tonka, a olibanum. I mean, they've got a lot of different scents. Amiris, labdanum, osmanthus, neroli, zagara, orange blossom, cedarwood, white fir, peach, almond, white sage. Here's the vanilla. Vaniglia. Nature's fragrant masterpiece. Fruit of a magnificent tropical orchid. Okay. Vaniglia planifolia, or vanilla fragrance, cultivated not so much for the rare beauty of its flowers, but for the unmistakable aroma of its pods. Dense, warm, enveloping, and engaging. Universally appreciated. A fragrance of rare excellence. At the same time, raw and abstract, traditional and innovative, deep and bright, olfactory work of art. An essence centered on irresistible notes of vanilla, accompanied by a seductive blend of olibanum, cypriol, and amyris. I remember amyris is supposed to give a little bit of like a citrusy vibe to the wood. Curiosity, with only 12 hours of flowering time for the delicate pale yellow buds, the vanilla orchid is still strictly hand-pollinated today. The natural process of producing vanilla, from manual pollination to the harvesting of the fruits, which each ripen at their own pace, up to their long maturation and drying, is incredibly laborious, making it the second most expensive spice after saffron. Two cultivars are mainly used in perfumery. Vanilla planifolia, flat-leaved, originally from Mexico, cultivated in Madagascar, Mauritius, Reunion, called Bourbon Island during the French occupation from the name of the ruling family, the Bourbons, from which also the name Vanilla Bourbon, and Vanilla tahitensis, also coming from French Polynesia. Okay, there's your vanilla history lesson, if you will. And the final one was the Legno de Pepe. Yeah, see, it's drying down much more creamy and smooth, whereas with the Mirra, it kind of stays. It kind of stays like it has some of the incense, earthy. You know, it still has some pop deep into the dry down. The Legno de Pepe and the vanilla become very smooth into the dry down. That's one of the reasons I think I much prefer the myrrh as time goes on. But let's read what they say about Legno de Pepe, and then I've got to go give my voice a break from talking all day at work and then all day on the live stream. Now it's 9 o'clock at night. So here's what they say about Legno de Pepe. If I can find it again, let's see. I think it was up top. They have so many fragrances. Legno de Pepe. I did read this one. This one I already read. So yes, this is the one that won the award. Best Artistic Perfume Independent Brand. I mean, if this is the type of award that Eugene is going for, though, as an independent brand, I would take Dessandra's over Legno de Pepe any day of the week. No offense. I mean, it's good. The quality is good, but it's nowhere near the complexity and how good Dessandra's is. So, so yes, that is a kind of intro brand, and you can find these. You can find these both at the Golden Goose website. So if you go to Golden, or if you just search for Golden Goose Lab Solu perfumes, you can find them. Or if you go to Lab Solu's own website, you can find them cheaper. So you can save some money, I think, by going directly to the Lab Solu website. Or if you want the Golden Goose version with the, you know, fancy city name on the front, you can do that as well. So you can find them in two places. So, Ahmed, yeah, thanks for that, man. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks. These are tough first impressions because they're simple in a way. They don't have a huge amount of notes. You saw a lot of them as like pepper, vanilla, wood, right? Or like this, the one we started with, the Santolina, is a note I've never smelled before, and it just felt like it sat on a bed of woods. So there's really not much to these. They're kind of simplistic, but they are well done. So you have to give it to them. And it looks like this brand kind of has a specific niche. Sounds like they're trying to do the Le Labo thing. They're trying to do the Le Labo thing, but also focus on the fact that it's Lab Solu, like it's made in a lab, you know. So they've got their little twist, if you will, as a new house. But I would be willing to smell more. I'd be willing to smell more from this house. They have intrigued my interest enough to do the Robes 08 sample again. So this would be a sample again for me. They've got a ton of stuff. Like I'd love to smell the oud and the olibanum and, you know, stuff like that. They've got an Angelica. They've got a Papanax. They've got one called Liquid Amber. They have a Cypriol, a Styrax. So many just named after individual ingredients. But yeah, I would definitely like to smell more from the house. So a good intro to a house that you just don't hear very much about. So, and we got to do it. We got to do a live stream. So, but it's 9 o'clock, worked all day. That's it for me. Time for me to clock out. So I appreciate everyone being here as always. Thanks for the interaction. I know these little live streams on a whim are, you know, tough for people to join when I just kind of do them out of the blue. So I'll try to announce them as much as possible in the future. But thanks to everyone who watched and commented and subscribed, all that good stuff. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.